Raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I affirm.
You will be, sir, sit right up there. State your full name for the record and spell your last name, please.
My name is Thomas C. Smalls. Folks call me T.C. Smalls. S-M-A-L-L-S.
Sheriff Smalls, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
All right. Tell the jury just a little bit about yourself, and I called you sheriff, so if you could just kind of explain that to them a little bit.
Okay, in law enforcement for 39 years, 8 months. I retired in December. 16 years of those 39 years was, I served as sheriff of Hampton County. Been in Hampton County all my life. I'm a pastor. Pretty much married, 4 kids, 7 grandkids, and just trying to enjoy some retirement. I retired December 31st day of December 2022, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to pull you back in. You said you just retired, huh?
Yes.
All right. Do you know the defendant, Alec Murdaugh?
Yes, I do.
Have you known him for years?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever have a conversation with Alec Murdaugh about him asking you permission or even telling you about installing blue lights in his private vehicle?
No, sir. I never had a conversation with Alec Murdaugh. Matter of fact, I never had a conversation with anyone in my 39 years about installing blue lights in their personal vehicles.
That's not something that's done, is it, sir?
Oh, no, no.
Did you know anything about the defendant claiming that you permitted him to do so until he testified to that last week?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Didn't know anything about
Didn't
it?
know anything about it.
And he never approached you at any point about that?
No, sir.
Did he ever approach you about any threats or anything as a result of the boat case, the boat wreck case?
No, we never have.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
Well, it's 12:01. Good afternoon, Sheriff Smalls.
How you doing?
My name's Jim Griffin.
Okay.
I'm a little hoarse. This pollen's getting to me, but it won't take long. You've known Alec Murdaugh for many, many years, is that correct?
Correct.
And he was a volunteer solicitor in Hampton County, 14th Circuit, for a number of years, correct?
I realized he worked along with his father.
Right.
As a, I don't know whether, I thought he was an assistant solicitor, but he worked along with his father as in Hampton County.
But he held the position of assistant solicitor of the 14th Circuit.
Yes, he did.
And he worked with his father,
Right.
trying cases in Hampton County and perhaps Colleton County and other places. You aware of that?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And are you aware of him trying any cases when it wasn't with his father?
Not my knowledge.
Okay. And his father was, we're talking about Randolph Murdaugh,
Correct.
and he was previously solicitor. Is that correct?
Right.
And are you aware that Alec Murdaugh was issued a badge for that position?
No, I was not.
Okay. And there's some, you were questioned about permission that, whether you gave him permission to have a blue light installed in a vehicle, and you said you did not, correct?
Correct.
Do you know whether Anthony Russell gave him permission?
I can't answer that.
Now, who's Anthony Russell?
Well, during my time when I was sheriff, Anthony Russell was a captain in my administration. He later became sheriff after I retired. He ran and he won the office of sheriff, and he holds office now.
And he was maybe not your right-hand man, but he was pretty high up in your administration.
He was a captain.
Okay. And then Chauncey Solomon, he was What was his position?
Chauncey Solomon was a lieutenant.
And Perry Singleton, he was passed away. What was his position?
He was a lieutenant.
And you know that Deputy Russell, Deputy Solomon, Deputy Singleton were very close to Alec Murdaugh. Were you aware of that?
Well, I knew they knew him. I don't know how close they were.
Okay. And did Eddie Gibson install the blue lights on the vehicles for the sheriff's department?
Not for my cause. Most of my vehicles light was done with a company out of Orangeburg, and then later we started working with a gentleman by the name of Charles Mitchell that installed lights, and he out of, I think, Hardyville or Bluffton.
So you don't know who do you know who Eddie Gibson is?
Oh, I know who Eddie Gibson. He worked for me at one time.
And when he worked for you, did he install blue lights? He worked on the vehicles, the fleet of vehicles?
No, not my vehicles.
Well, when he worked for you, what did he do?
He was a deputy sheriff. He patrolled.
And so like you're unfamiliar that at any point in time, Mr. Murdaugh had a blue light in his vehicle.
I never had any knowledge that he had blue lights in his vehicle.
Oh, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I approach? May we approach very quick? Sheriff Smalls, when did you retire again?
I retired December the 31st, 2022.
2022, so just a couple months ago.
Right.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, sir.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You'll call your next witness.
Take all the phones, man.
Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You witness, sir, please be seated. State your full name for the record and spell it. Last name, please.
Paul McManigal, MC, MANIGAL.
All right. Good afternoon. Sergeant McManigal, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you're employed with the Charleston County Sheriff's Office?
I am.
And you testified previously in this trial, correct?
Yes, I have.
Just briefly remind the jury exactly what topic you testified on earlier. Briefly, please.
I was tasked with redacting Alec Murdaugh's cell phone records to remove any possible client-attorney privileged information.
All right. And during that testimony, you were not qualified as an expert, correct?
That is correct.
All right. But you have been qualified in previous trials?
Yes, I have.
And approximately how many times have you been qualified as an expert previously in other trials?
About 10.
10 times. Okay. And is that in cell phone forensics?
Part of it was about, refer to my notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times of that was in cell phones forensics. The other was crime scene investigation.
Okay. All right. And just let's briefly go down as quick as you can. Let's go through your training and experience in cell phone forensics, please.
Okay. I'm currently assigned to the United States Secret Service Cyber Fraud Task Force, which is where I received most of my training. I have been trained in basic computer evidence recovery, advanced computer forensics, oxygen forensic suite training, blacklight examiner, advanced mobile device examiner, Celebrite physical and logical examination, XRY certification training, Macintosh triage and imaging, Apple iDevice forensics, Celebrite advanced JTAG extraction, network intrusion response, vehicle forensics, digital video recorder evidence and recovery, ransomware investigation response training, and several other webinars.
All right. At this time, state would seek to admit Sergeant McManigal as an expert in cell phone forensics.
So qualified.
Sergeant McManigal, last week you were present when a gentleman named Micah Sturgis testified for the defense, correct?
That is correct.
And specifically, he testified about this feature in iPhone known as
Raise to wake.
Raise to wake, correct?
Yes, sir.
And briefly, explain to the jury what that function is and what it serves as in the cell phone, for the iPhone, excuse me.
Raise to wake is when the cell phone is laying down and you pick it up. It realizes that somebody's picking up the device and tries to assist by turning on the display so that you could possibly unlock it with your face unlock.
All right. Or read a notification, possibly, if there's a notification on the screen.
That's correct.
And so it's designed to turn on that screen when it thinks someone's picking up the phone to look at the screen, correct?
That is correct.
All right. There's been previous testimony, I think, by Mr. Sturgis and other experts in this case that the iPhone, if the screen is off, it will not record an orientation change, correct?
If the screen is off, it will not record an orientation.
And you agree with
change.
that opinion?
I agree, yes.
And you were asked after Mr. Sturgis' testimony to investigate a little bit more about this raise to wake feature, correct?
I was.
And specifically, as demonstrated with the jurors, the screen's going to turn on when the phone is picked up gently, correct?
That is correct.
Because the phone thinks it's being picked up to be looked at, correct?
That is correct.
You're asked to investigate with a test device whether that screen lights up every time a phone is picked up in a more violent fashion or quicker fashion, correct?
Correct. When the phone is picked up more aggressively or moved more aggressively, the device will not turn on the screen.
And that's because the way raise to wake feature is based off of what in the cell phone? What's telling it to wake up? What
The
sensor?
accelerometer primarily.
Okay. And so the accelerometer is sensing motion, correct?
Correct.
And so if it senses a slight amount of motion, it's going to turn the screen on because it thinks someone's picking up to look at it, correct?
Can't lead the witness.
And so if the cell phone only detects a slight amount of motion, what does it do? What does the iPhone do?
So if the iPhone registers a slight amount of motion, it thinks it's being picked up, so it will turn on the screen. But if it's being picked up more aggressively, it won't. And that's a battery protection feature. If you had the iPhone in your pocket and you were jogging, you don't want the screen to stay on the whole time. So when the phone is moving more aggressively, the screen does not turn on.
And so you're asked to do some tests in your lab with a test device, correct?
That is correct. I obtained an iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is the same make and model as the phone that Maggie had.
All right. And what software version was on your test device?
The software that was on my device is iOS 14.8. The one that was on Maggie's was iOS 14.6. So the iOS that was on my device that I tested was slightly newer.
Okay. And did you perform a series of tests with various motions and various throws with this phone to determine, and were you able to develop an opinion of when the screen might come on and when it might not?
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis for the objection.
Rule 5, this is an experiment with evidence, Section something C, and we have not been provided this.
The objection is overruled. Rule 5 does not apply.
Thank you. So you did perform a number of tests, correct?
Yes, sir. Performed many tests over the weekend. I pick it up and shake it, pick it up and throw it. I threw it off to my desk. I knocked it off of my desk. I tried to flip it end over end. I tried to throw it like a Frisbee. I did each one at least 10 to 20 times.
Okay. And were the results 100% conclusively? I mean, did the phone do the same thing every time?
No, not at all. Sometimes the screen would turn on. When I threw it, land face up, and then the screen would turn on. But a lot of the times I would throw it, and the screen would not turn on. It depends on how the accelerometer registered that movement.
So based off of your test, is it your opinion that an iPhone of the same make and model as Maggie's could be thrown and the screen not turned on?
Can't lead the witness.
All right. Did you develop an opinion about whether the screen would turn on every time a phone was thrown?
If the phone is thrown, the screen does not always turn on. In my experimentation, I determined that when the phone is thrown more like a Frisbee, 9 out of 10 times, the screen does not turn on. The times that it did turn on most often was when I pick it up and tried to shake it, then the screen would come on briefly.
Okay. But 9 out of 10 times, when you toss a phone like a Frisbee, the screen would not turn on, correct?
That is correct.
Not far from the state.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
When you performed these experiments, did you record them in any way?
I did not.
You didn't video record doing any of this?
I did not.
Did you consider video recording any of these experiments?
Actually, it never crossed my mind.
You just did the experiments and then just sort of orally relay when you could have had a video to show us?
That is correct.
If you were going to throw a phone out from a moving vehicle, wouldn't you need to pick it up, to toss it?
Certainly.
And if I understand the previous testimony, when you pick it up, the screen comes on.
When you pick it up gently.
So if you pick it up to toss it out the window while you're driving, you got to pick it up. Is that correct?
Correct. And if you pick it up aggressively, it will not.
But not always.
Not always.
Sometimes will, sometimes won't.
Correct.
According to the experiments that you conducted since, when did you do these experiments?
I started it Friday afternoon and into Saturday.
So you did these experiments this last weekend.
Correct.
You did not record any data.
I did not.
You just played with the phone and are coming here to express your observations.
That's correct.
Do you have the phone that you used to do these experiments with you?
Not with me.
Are you aware of how the phone in this, Maggie's phone in this case, when it was located, what its position was? Have you seen the photos?
I have.
And was it screen up?
It was screen up.
Okay. Would you agree then that it had to be thrown from a screen up position, because if it was screened down and you turned it over to throw it out, the screen would come on?
Of course not. It can tumble through the air.
So if the phone was screened down in the car and it ends up screen up over here, it has to turn over, right?
At least one time, yes, sir.
And do you, I guess, disagree with the previous testimony and demonstration that when you take the phone and turn it over, the screen comes on?
No, when you pick it up gently, the screen does come on.
We say pick it up. If you rotate it on that axis so that it's screen down to screen up, does the screen come on?
If I pick it up gently and rotate it, the screen comes on. If I pick it up aggressively, it does not.
And if it's facing you and rotates 90 degrees, does the screen come on?
Only if you do it gently. Again, if you do it aggressively,
How
it will
gently?
not.
Did you measure any of these forces?
I did not.
You just threw the phone around in your office?
Absolutely.
So you didn't record what you were doing, and you did not measure any data.
I
Was
did
this
not.
because you were afraid that you would have to disclose that data if you recorded it?
Of course not, no.
Do you normally do experiments and don't record any data or video, record anything?
It never crossed my mind to record video.
Do you believe that you would have to have disclosed that data if you had recorded it?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
I believe so, yes.
So the reason you didn't record data was that it would have to be produced, and then we could examine it and discover whether or not it was accurate.
No,
you
sir.
avoided that by not recording anything, correct?
No, sir. That's not correct.
Why didn't you record any data?
It did not cross my mind to video record my experiments. I just did the experiments to determine whether or not
And
the screen would
you
come
didn't
on.
occur to you to measure how fast you were moving the phone, maybe to even find out what is that threshold you claim where the phone goes from turning on to not turning on? Exactly when does that happen? You have no idea, do you?
No, sir. It would take me much longer to do these experiments to determine the exact speed and force required to turn the display on versus not.
Did you discover any, or did you attempt to locate any documentation regarding the raised awake feature on the iPhone?
I did. I tried extensively. I reached out to several different forensic surface focus groups that I'm a part of, and we were not able to find any white papers on the subject.
So you were unable to find any actual data on it, so you resorted to throwing your phone around alone? Was anyone with you when you did this?
No, sir. I was alone in my office.
So you're alone in your office, throwing the phone around, taking no measurements, recording nothing over the weekend, and then you come in here and testify as an expert as to what the phone will do,
That's correct.
and testify that it's different than what we've seen it do right here in this courtroom.
That's correct.
Have you ever done this, anything like this before? You'd mentioned testifying 6 times before. Was this your expert testimony in any other case?
My expert testimony in other cases was always about cell phone reports and the data contained therein. I've never actually done physical experimentation to come up with a realistic result.
So your previous experience was extracting data from cell phones, is that accurate?
Correct.
Is that what you're trained to do?
Yes, sir.
The training that was listed, it was to extract data from a cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Are you an engineer?
No, sir.
Do you have any certification in engineering?
No, sir.
Do you have any degree, academic qualifications in engineering?
No, sir.
Have you ever worked as an engineer?
No, sir.
You're trained in extracting data from the cell phone.
That's correct.
And when it comes to tossing it around and seeing how it moves, you don't know anything more than anyone else, do you?
No, sir.
So you had this, Your Honor, based on the previous answer, I would move to strike the expert opinion.
On what basis?
The witness just testified he has no expertise in this. That he just said he has no more knowledge about this than anyone else in the courtroom. That his expertise is in extracting data from the cell phone. And that this opinion is therefore outside of his expertise, and this is inadmissible opinion testimony.
Previously stipulated that he's an expert.
Yes, Your Honor, in extracting data from the cell phone, which was before we got to this testimony about
Says the state.
Your Honor, this witness performed a series of tests. He's reporting on, I'm sorry, Your Honor?
We know that. He's testified to that.
And he's expressed his opinion of what the phone will do in those series of tests. It's not an absolute opinion, but I think he can, his opinion of when the screen would light up is something he tested and something he can testify to.
Anything further?
Your Honor, simply that when he was proffered as an expert before this testimony, it was in extracting data from the cell phone, not in engineering, electrical engineering, which is where he's gone now.
Objections overruled.
So you just testified you have no more knowledge about engineering the iPhone than anyone here, correct?
I know more about how the iPhone works, but no, sir, I'm not an engineer.
You're not an engineer. When you said that the accelerometers are what trigger this feature, how do you know that?
That's from data that's on Apple's website.
So you found something on Raise the Wake that says that the accelerometers are what trigger this feature?
No, sir. That's the only thing that is capable of detecting motion on the phone, besides GPS.
And you have no idea how much motion is required because you didn't measure, correct?
No, sir. I don't know the threshold.
Okay. You, this weekend, sat around your office by yourself, recording nothing, tossing the phone around here, and are now reporting those results as an expert in what?
In cell phone forensics. I understand how cell phones operate more than most people.
Do you understand the electrical engineering? Do you have any background in that?
I am not an engineer, no, sir.
Do you know how the accelerometers in the iPhone work? Can you tell us?
Not exactly, no, sir. But I know that they exist, and I know that's how the iPhone determines motion.
So there's an unknown device within the phone that detects motion in a way that you don't understand, and some amount of motion that you don't know how much because you didn't measure it does something that only you saw in your office this weekend. Is that correct?
No, I know what that is. It's the accelerometer. The accelerometer is what detects the motion, and that's what causes the iPhone to race to wake.
How does an accelerometer detect motion?
I'm not an engineer. I do not know how it detects motion. I just know that it does.
But, sir, you really haven't said anything you couldn't quickly find out on Google. Isn't that correct?
Probably, yes, sir.
So you have no expertise in this.
I have expertise in how cell phones work.
What do you mean by that, how cell phones work?
So I can tell you all about the knowledge C databases. I can tell you about the way iPhones are not iPhones. I can tell you the way some software is written, what kind of code it's written in. I can tell you how data is stored on a cell phone, the programming that's involved with the iOS feature, and the different databases that are involved.
Can you tell us that if somebody was driving down the road, picked up a phone that was either on the seat or pulled it out of a pocket or something like that, and while continuing to drive, threw it out the window, that the screen would not come on if it landed face up?
I cannot tell you that it will not come on. I can tell you that it might not come on.
Because when you were alone, throwing your phone around, you think it didn't come on sometimes.
Objection. Ask the answer.
Objection is sustained.
No further questions.
Anything further?
Just real quick. When Mr. Barber was asking about picking up a phone and then tossing it, about the Raise Awake, what Mr. Sturgis demonstrated to jury was a gentle pickup, correct?
That is correct.
You test a more violent pickup or a more aggressive pickup and then moving to a throwing motion, correct?
Yes, sir. I just picked it up and threw it.
All right, and based off of what you tested and you observed, the screen does not come on most of the time?
When
do
you
that?
throw it like a frisbee, it's most of the time. When you throw it end over end, it's more than half the time it will not come on.
All right. And Mr. Barber asked you several times whether you knew more than anybody else about these cell phones, correct?
Correct.
And in particular, in this instance, you do know more than most people because you performed a series of tests, correct?
Objection sustained.
You performed multiple tests over the weekend, correct?
That's correct.
Objection sustained.
What did you do this weekend?
This weekend, I performed multiple tests on a device matching the same make and model as Maggie Murdaugh's to determine whether or not the raise to wake feature would always enable the screen to come on whenever the phone is thrown.
And Mr. Barber asked you several times about being an engineer, correct?
Correct.
And did you hear anything out of Mr. Sturgis last week that indicated he was an engineer?
No, sir.
All right. And do you testified you don't know exactly how the accelerometer works, correct?
That is correct.
Is that knowledge necessary to observe when a screen turns on and when it does not turn on?
No, sir.
Not further, Mr.
Anything further?
One question. How many times do you have to run this experiment for your results to be statistically reliable?
I'm sorry, say it again?
How many times do you need to run this experiment for your results to be statistically reliable?
More than 10?
What your basis for that is?
It doesn't take that long to figure out that sometimes it turns on and sometimes it doesn't.
Do you know how to measure reliability using statistics?
I took statistics in college, yes, sir.
Do you know how to measure reliability using statistics?
Yes, sir.
How do you do it?
Well, you have to have a performative sample. You have to have a default group that is has no change to it, and then you have to have your sample group where you actually perform a change. You take the data, you put it into a formula. It gives you a degree of reliability.
Did you do that here?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Step down. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, state calls Mark Ball.